This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun. No.
Y'all, just
Stop.
stop. A sham. Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, October 13th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Tori and Erica. Are we all set?
Happy
I think
birthday to
so.
Lawson.
Well, we were saving for the end of the show,
I'm
if you were listening.
I'm so
But yes, it's my son Lawson's birthday. I don't know if they have the picture queued up
I'm
yet,
so
but we were just
happy.
talking about that. We do not. Thank you for ruining
I'm so
that
sorry.
surprise.
I'm very excited. I didn't know.
wow.
Very exciting though. 5 years old.
She's the girl that the guy just goes to bend down and she's like, he's gonna propose!
Wait, you want to know something funny? When I thought I was getting proposed to by Brooks, he would bend down to tie his shoe and be like, Victoria? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh, my shoe's untied.
So you stole the thunder of my son's 5th birthday.
Okay.
All right. That worked out well. Anyways, let's get to it, guys. The hit Korean series Squid Game, I should say, has now become the biggest series launch for Netflix ever. And that's saying a lot. The show is about contestants who have to win at deadly children's games for a chance to pay off their huge debts. It gained 111 million viewers since its debut late last month. It's also the #1 series in 94 countries around the world, and it's the first Korean language series to hit #1 in the US. Wow. Bridgerton formerly held the title for the biggest launch. I'm kind of glad it got beat. I never saw Bridgerton or Squid Game, but we almost started it yesterday. I was trying to talk my wife into watching it, and we watched Guilty, and that was a disaster.
Oh.
Great actors. Jake Gyllenhaal did great. I don't mean to get off topic, but I was like, come on, man.
No.
But anyways, what do we
Game.
think about Squid Game? I know there's a lot of talk around the office around it.
So I've watched every episode. I also watch a lot of foreign films and TV, so I'm used to subtitles. But if you can get used to that 1 inch, you are opened up to a whole new world of film and TV. So what's crazy about this is the mix between children's games and happiness and sort of playing red light, green light and stuff, and then just massive violence. So there's a twisted part of that in your mind that those two don't go together. And it's played out in the colors. Things are bright pink, things are bright green, things are bright red, and then there's suddenly blood. So it is a very intense show, and I'm being honest, it like kind of messed with me for a little bit, and it feels kind of like it could possibly in the near future might kind of be real. Like it feels like a dystopia that could possibly come
Like
true.
you're thinking reality television might get this far?
It feels like that because you're watching a reality show, so you're into it, but that show is life or death.
Have you watched it?
No.
You're not, you're not into that, huh?
The world's too crazy as it is. My anxiety is
Yeah.
through the roof. I don't need to see kids' games that turn tragic. I don't need any more tragedy. I'm not watching anything traumatic.
Yeah, it's bad.
Period.
It's bad. And like one of the ones you think you're watching, it turns. Everything is a twist where you're like, no. So it's really, it messes with you. But visually, if you like Stanley Kubrick or Tarantino, it has that stylized look to it. Great show, great actors, great writing, but really it's intense. Very
Wow,
intense.
Wow. You could also get it dubbed, too, if you don't want to read the subtitles.
Yes.
They also have it dubbed in English.
Yeah.
So, might check it out. All right. Actor Jamie Costa has... Karen. We talked about that right before the show. I haven't screwed it up. I knew I would. Actor Jamie Costa has stunned the internet by releasing footage of his YouTube channel of him playing the late Robin Williams from his Mork and Mindy days. Let's take a look.
Just working on my report on dreams. Dreams? Well, dreams are a beautiful aspect of human culture. In fact, it happens when you're at night and you close your eyes and all kinds of images happen and it's really bizarre. Well, let's try this one. Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask Cinderella, she might sing it to you and say,
Robin?
a dream is a wish your heart...
Robin!
That's pretty good. Here's a look at Robin as Mork next to Jamie. That's pretty good, too, I think. Fans of the late actor are saying Jamie should play him in an actual biopic. Robin, if you remember, passed away in 2004 by suicide after battling dementia. I think it's very important who plays Robin Williams because I think he was such a staple. I don't even know how to describe him to the acting career, to what he is to society. He was a gem. I don't know what else to say. And I think it's going to be very important if they do a biopic about him, who plays him as well.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to dishonor someone by trying to honor them, and I think that happens from time to time. Just quick note, Robin passed away in 2014.
What did I say?
2004, but I know someone's going to say something, so I just decided to correct it.
Costa.
Good job.
I'm great with this stuff.
I think what you just said is true. Robin Williams was a genius, right? When you say like Kanye was a genius and they're a little bit mad and they're a little bit sane, it's hard to find someone that genius to play him. This guy has the rhythm down, has the voice down. I know he also reenacted the part where he was found that his friend Belushi was dead, found dead. And I know that might have been a little controversial, but I think you need someone who, as soon as you see it, the guy disappears and it's Robin to you, and that did it for me.
Well, this YouTube guy kind of went off on his own and just did this.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that.
Now it's getting some traction.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing that, like the Will Smith Fresh Prince. The guy just went out and did it himself to make that other Fresh Prince, and now they're picking it up.
But there's been cases in the past where like people equate YouTube numbers to like talent level, right? So they'll bring you, I don't know if you guys have seen this in your life, I sure have, right? I've lost jobs to YouTubers in the past, and just because they have a following and they could do what they do at home or in the comfort of their own home, that doesn't equate necessarily to production. Have you guys noticed any of that? Or
I think that's something that a lot of people, or just corporations, media groups in general, are constantly playing with. I find that if someone's going to, let's say, even between your Instagram and your Twitter, like, do you share that same following? I don't share that same following. It's two totally different followings. Somebody who's watching me here is not watching or listening to my podcast necessarily. That's totally different people. Right. So I think you're right, but I think that we're always trying to find that balance of like kind of bringing your audience together.
It's weird because in LA at the very end in 2016, they would say name, are you part of SAG, the union, and then they'd say how many followers do you have? And that was the first time, like a line for how many, because that would move you up. And I was like, what is that?
And they were also paying them a lot of money, like to do what they do on their channel. It's a whole world that I know because I was a part of that world. Not YouTube necessarily, but losing out to jobs for people like that. They pay them a ton of money and they just didn't post on their Instagram. They didn't follow through. I'm not saying that's the case with Costa here, but it
doesn't always translate.
Doesn't always translate.
That's right.
Doesn't always translate. All right, let's get this one in. Actor Dean Cain has a problem with the new Superman coming out as bisexual, but it's not what you think. So yesterday, DC Comics announced that the son of Superman and Lois Lane, John Kent, is bisexual after he falls for a male reporter. But Dean, who played Superman in the 90s TV show Lois and Clark, has an issue with it. Let's watch.
I say they're bandwagoning. You know, a Robin of Batman, and Robin, as you mentioned, just came out as bi or gay recently. And honestly, who's really shocked about that one? I had some thoughts about that a long time ago. But the new Captain America is gay. My daughter in Supergirl, where I played the father, she was gay. So I don't think it's bold or brave or some crazy new direction. If they had done this 20 years ago, perhaps that would have been bold and brave.
So Dean added that it would have been bolder for Superman to fight real injustices like the Taliban's treatment of women and the discrimination against gay people around the world. That's kind of what they're doing, though, right? They're kind of fighting injustice by making him bisexual, right? Isn't that?
No.
That doesn't equate?
No. No.
Why not?
I don't think that's fighting for anything or taking a stand.
Right,
it is representation.
He's trying to counter that point by you. Okay, you tell me why.
Well, I think it's representation, but if there's no action behind it, then he's absolutely right.
Isn't representation fighting injustice?
No, not necessarily.
It's not?
No. I mean, fighting injustice comes with intention, and that intention has to be rooted in the idea of dismantling some type of system that oppresses people. When you're talking about just dropping somebody in order to represent, that intention could be just to appease. That's not what people are looking for when we're talking about representation.
But do you think in some ways it normalizes bisexuality and the LGBTQ? Right. And in that way, that is an action towards
But I think
justice.
he's absolutely right. They're not the first to do it.
Right.
So if you are going to piggyback and do that, then there should be another level to it. There should be another layer. You're not, when it's kind of like when somebody stands up in a big group and says something like, I don't agree with this and I'm taking a stand. And then no one says anything. But then behind the scenes, someone comes and says, I totally agree with you. That means nothing. You have to be there and be the first to actually stand up and say something, and you need there to be an action behind it.
See, I slightly disagree with you respectfully. I think taking a stand making John Kent a bisexual person is an action. I think that is normalizing, and I think normalization can be a verb.
If that's enough, then that's enough for you.
Right. But I know there could be a lot more.
I'm just simply saying it's not enough for me.
I feel you. And it can ring of tokenism, meaning we'll just put that on there to make sure they're happy. And that can rub people really the wrong way because you're the reverse
As
of
it
helping.
should.
Right, exactly.
And that's why we need to talk about this more, because to be quite honest, I'm confused. I thought I was saying something positive, and it turns out I might not be. But that's why we need to talk about it more, because I'm trying to be positive and helpful.
Nuance.
But at the same time, I might have offended somebody, which is tough.
I don't think anything you said was offensive.
I know, but
think
I just
that
feel,
there's a
I'm
clarity.
telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
And
get
people
it.
at home feel a certain way, and we got to go. But hey, we're all learning. We're all learning. Coming up on DBL, the trailer for the 5th Scream movie just dropped, but have they gone too far? Then from the doctor's office to the red carpet, we're talking to actor Ken Jeong. He's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by.
As a DJ, I know all of.
What's up, guys? So a lot of notes around here. So I got to read this. That's one of the notes I got. So DBL Nation, thank you so much for watching us online. What?
Make it natural.
I am. But we need your help. Head to dailyblastlive.com to take part in our audience survey. It'll help us continue to grow and build our community. The survey is just a few questions. Will only take a couple of minutes to complete. So I had to read this to make sure I got all the information correct. It will come off more natural next time. But it is very important because we want to hear from you guys. We all have different opinions up here, as you can see, and we all come from different backgrounds. You guys are going to help us tractor beam that right into the show we produce for you. So it is very important. If you want to be part of the show, please go to dailyblastlive.com and give us your opinion. All right.
I think also very quickly, a lot of people thought they were making Clark Kent gay or bisexual, and I'm very glad we cleared up that it's his son, because it's important. The character's history and backstory is important to the story to people in the universe of DC Comics. So it's John Kent, Jonathan Kent, no H, and he is the son of Lois and Clark Kent. Just wanted to clear that up, because a lot of people thought they were making Superman bi.
So what would you say making his character bisexual? Maybe I didn't understand the phrasing correctly. What would you say that's fighting? Is it fighting against? Is it representation? What is the right word that I'm looking for here?
It depends on how you see it. Like, some people could see it as, oh, they did it just to put a bisexual in there. So
what if you're trying to be positive? What's the word?
Then in my opinion, you're normalizing bisexuality. And that's what, that to me is an action. But what Erica's saying, and please speak for yourself, it feels like that's not enough.
Of course, we don't know the storyline moving forward. Maybe it will go into the direction she's talking about.
Right, I'm saying based on what we know right now, exactly. And I think where I'm coming from is for any minority group that's underrepresented in media, there is this idea that if we place this person there, then that's going to be enough. Yeah. But the truth is, the reason why they weren't there wasn't because they were unqualified to be there or they were any less deserving than anyone who's actually there. It's just the idea that now there's recognition that the representation should be there, so there needs to be another step. It's not enough just to be there.
Just a Band-Aid.
Welcome back to DBL. Some stars got into the Halloween spirit for the premiere of Halloween Kills. So, cast members from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like Kathy Hilton and Lisa Rinna, dressed up in costume to support Kyle Richards, who appears in the film. But star Jamie Lee Curtis won the night dressing up as her mom, Janet Leigh, from the movie Psycho. Of course, Janet played the woman who meets her demise in that famous shower scene. Wow, iconic, right?
Iconic. That scene is everything. If you didn't know that was Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, a lot of people don't know that. That's her mother. But that scene was so scary because you see the action, the blood. You never see her get stabbed, but it scarred that entire generation to take a shower.
Did I get this? I'm just now remembering this, and I don't even know if it's true. Was that
chocolate syrup?
Chocolate syrup?
Yeah, because it's black and white.
That was going in?
Yeah, they wanted it thick like blood, so they used a chocolate syrup mix.
I don't remember why I remember that tidbit. What's up?
I don't know. I've never saw the movie.
You never saw
but
Psycho?
as much as Kyle Richards talks about being in the movie, every episode,
She tends to bring it up a
Real
lot.
Housewives of Beverly Hills. I feel like I've seen the movie.
It's kind of a classic. It's one of those you got to go back and,
It is.
and watch.
And it's very, if you've never seen a Hitchcock, it's really at the heart of what Hitchcock's theory of suspense is.
Okay, speaking of horror movies, we're getting a first look at the latest Scream movie featuring some familiar faces. Let's take a look.
I know who you are. I've been through this a lot. This is your life now, which means that whoever this is going to keep coming for you. You ready for this? Never.
So along with Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, David Arquette reprises his role as Deputy Dewey in Scream 5.
That's where they met.
Which one did they get divorced on?
I don't know, but one of them. But they had Courtney and David Arquette met on the set of Scream. Chemistry, bebes, divorce, but still amicable.
Very, very good. My brother-in-law's in town, and my wife and him were watching Scream downstairs. So they said, Lawson, don't come down here. And so he came down, and he comes back up, and I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, they're watching a scary movie. I'm like, what did they watch? And he goes, and I'm like, what's that? And he goes, I don't know, but the man's face was like, and then I'm like, what are you guys watching? They're like, Scream. And then it all makes sense. I was dying. I was laughing so hard.
That's so good. That's exactly what that is so good. God. But talk about famous scenes like Scream when she's on the phone and making popcorn. Drew Barrymore in the beginning. I'm inside the house. What? Talk about scary.
Didn't Scream, was Scream before cell phones? Because she was on a landline.
A cordless landline. You're absolutely right. Remember that? With her little haircut.
Wow.
Drew Barrymore. And she's like, I don't know. What are you doing? And then you're all like, what? And then there's a window. And then you're like, what?
Is it weird that I remember the spoof of that movie more than
I know.
Yeah.
I was like,
Scary
oh,
movie.
that's the what up guy. But
Yeah,
They were the ones that did it.
That was Steve makes me laugh.
Budweiser dudes.
Coming up on DBL, actor Ken Jeong. His advice for our very own Dr. Coley. You don't want to miss it.
Public health officials continue urging people to get vaccinated against COVID-19. But some Americans are choosing not to for a variety of reasons. Now, a viral post from Colorado State Representative Tim Geithner claims a hospital is denying transplants to the unvaccinated. So let's verify. Can hospitals require organ transplant patients and donors to be vaccinated against COVID-19? Our sources are the University of Colorado Health, the American Society of Transplantation, and the American Hospital Association. Geithner's post includes an image of a letter supposedly sent from UC Health to a patient explaining they were essentially taken off the transplant waiting list because they are not vaccinated against COVID-19. UC Health wouldn't confirm the authenticity of the letter, citing patient privacy rules, but confirmed it is now requiring transplant recipients and living donors to be vaccinated against COVID-19. It cites a European study that found unvaccinated kidney transplant patients have a 21% mortality rate from COVID-19 compared to less than 2% for average people who are not vaccinated. The AHA notes transplant recipients aren't just more susceptible to COVID-19, but other infections as well. That's because they're on powerful immunosuppressants to prevent their bodies from rejecting a new organ. UC Health isn't alone. Hospitals in Washington and Ohio are also requiring COVID-19 vaccines for transplants. So it's true. Some hospitals are requiring organ transplant patients and donors to be vaccinated against COVID-19, although that's not the case at every hospital. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. He got a PhD in economics. He went to med school, became a doctor, and then as if that weren't enough, he went to Hollywood and gave us some of the funniest characters of all time. That's right, Ken Jeong is in the house, y'all. That's today's Chatting with the Stars. Ken Jeong, one of our favorite people. Welcome to DBL. So you are here promoting awareness about dry eye disease. But first, we do have to talk about The Masked Singer, especially after last week's shocking reveal. So what can we expect this week? Any teases?
This is my favorite Masked Singer season ever because we are a stacked deck. I mean, we have the amount of talent this season is incredible, and there's some performances that have just truly blown me away.
I'll see you later. Good night, everybody.
Hi, Ken. It's Dr. Coley. I'm actually an internist and a cardiologist. I'm also DBL's medical expert. It's such a pleasure to meet you because all of us in the medical community look up to you so much. So I want to ask you that, do you have any advice for a medical professional? And I'm not asking for myself, I'm asking for a friend who might be looking to break into Hollywood.
It's, does that person, not a friend, overact at all? Does that person like always do too much in a scene?
Yeah, sometimes I'm gonna have to give him or her that feedback.
For fame. Okay, if they're always accused of trying too hard in a scene, that might be right for you. Yeah.
I love it.
That is awesome. Now, you did a hilarious skit about ivermectin at the Emmys, so we're not going to get too heavy. But as a former medical professional, like, what is it like confronting the anti-vax movement in Hollywood? Like, how do you navigate that?
I was always taught in med school just to come from a standpoint of empathy, critical thinking, and compassion, and try to look at all sides of the coin. And at the end of the day, we're here to help people. We're here to connect. And I think that's the most important thing, absolutely.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Making sense. We all should do it.
Yeah, but also follow the science and follow the data.
Right.
And keep it real, yeah.
We could swap stories with you for hours, but we have to talk about your journey with dry eye disease. I have really
And we also have to know if this is all going to be on one card in the VIP.
Okay.
Sorry.
I look like I'm at the club. Let's all laugh. Ken made fun of me.
One card?
White foam. That's exactly right.
I wish I could see. I wish I could see you guys. There's like a bottle. There's like a AM bottle service that's going on right there. It's like,
She is on a snakeskin dress and huge hoop earrings. She looks great, but it's a lot of sparklers. It's a lot of.
Al?
There can only be 8 people back
I'm
here.
dealing with dry eye disease. Do you mind? Okay. Dr. Ken, thank you. How can we know if we're at risk for dry eye disease? Because I have terrible eyes, and I just want to know, I'm always blinking and tearing on one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wore contact lenses for over 35 years,
Yeah.
although in Hollywood, I call myself a millennial. But when I became a full-time actor, just on sound stages, reading prompter, you guys, reading prompter screens all the time, and I live out here in LA where it's dry weather. All these things exacerbated, my dry eye symptoms, and that's when I contacted my own doctor, and that's why I partnered up with Novartis. At the end of the day, go talk to your eye doctor and go to Xiidra.com.
Ken, thank you so much for chatting with us at the club. We really appreciate your morning.
DBL.
Yeah, or DBL. Thanks for chatting with us.
At Club AM, Colorado. Absolutely. Club AM.
We're always
That's
on
what
at
I'm
Club
called.
AM, DBL. Thanks so
Calling all
much.
this.
That's right. We'll be right back.
Club
Thank
AM.
you, Ken. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Whether you realize it or not, Facebook is tracking a lot of your personal data and sharing it with advertisers. Though Facebook says it doesn't sell personal information like your name or the content of your posts, it does use nameless profiles of users and their interests to personalize advertisements. The company said this improves users' experiences by showing relevant content, and it helps small businesses. But Jonathan S. Weissman, a senior lecturer at Rochester Institute of Technology, said the reward is not worth the risk.
Despite the fact that it's creepy, the inherent benefits of seeing ads you might be interested in, it's not worth the risk of your privacy.
Even when you're not using Facebook, the company is collecting data about your internet habits through an advertiser tool called Facebook Pixel that's built into the code of millions of other websites.
Every site that uses the Facebook Pixel passes your information to Facebook. As a result, there's almost nothing that Facebook doesn't know about you.
If you're uncomfortable with Facebook collecting that much personal information, there are ways to limit sharing. First, on a mobile device, expand the hamburger menu in the bottom right corner, then go to Settings and Privacy, Settings, Off Facebook Activity, Clear History, then Clear History. To prevent Facebook from collecting future off-platform data, go to More Options, Manage Future Activity, then toggle off Future Off Facebook Activity.
Welcome back to DBL. Fitness is essential for everyone, no matter what age you are, and it's even more important if you plan on aging gracefully. We're chatting about it on DBL's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. So, bodies have limitations over time, but anyone can maintain an impactful workout routine. First, modify workouts to your fitness level, then make your goal an establish a daily routine. A few simple practices like focusing on balance can reduce your risk of falling and even boost brain function. Staying active is so important, and QB has made it easy regardless of physical ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more. All right, so now I want to wish a happy 5th birthday to my son Lawson. Yay! There he is. And he loves when I make little clips at home and I show him on the computer of him. So there you are, Lawson. I love you, buddy. We're going to go home and celebrate and have a little birthday party. And it's going to be fun. I love you, buddy. DBL's new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place.